My name is Tarmack, and this is your Game Industry News Wrap-Up for the week of November 11th, 2017. Our title story this week involves what has been perceived in some circles as continuing shady behavior by Electronic Arts. Hot on the heels of having taken old Yeller Visceral out back with a shotgun, EA has announced this week that the mega publisher is acquiring Respawn Entertainment for the princely sum of up to $455 million based on performance metrics and static payment amounts. All of this coming just a few weeks after the closure of a studio has a few people scratching their heads. And while it is worth noting that not all development teams are equal, to see a closure followed so closely by an acquisition is likely to be a cause of concern with the folks at Respawn right now. It may be conspiratorial for me to say this, but if you were looking to acquire a studio but didn't like the asking price, and they're already developing games for you, one way for the asking price to drop is if their current game didn't do very well. And one way you could ensure that a first-person shooter didn't do particularly well is to line up its release date against COD and Battlefield. Or it could be that EA was just taking advantage of the right of first refusal to prevent an offer from Nexon from buying the studio instead, as Nexon had made an offer. Either way, Respawn employees are left asking the question, "Papa EA, where are we going?" Niantic is taking their utterly perfect and comprehensive alternate reality game Pokémon Go, following rumors from last year and focusing that knowledge and expertise on a new Harry Potter game. While details are a bit hard to come by, it is known that much of the location-based gameplay developed for Ingress and subsequently Pokémon Go will be used for this new Wizards in Real Life simulator. And much like a muggle trying to get to platform 9 3/4, you can expect loads of bruised noses and egos as gamers everywhere enjoy their favorite pastime of walking around with their phones, not looking where they're going. ArenaNet, developers of Guild Wars 2, have decided to head down the road of loot boxes by implementing new mount skins for mounts in the Path of Fire expansion. They added 31 new skins, of which one can be purchased outright, and the rest are available for a cost of 400 gems, which is equivalent to $5 US. The only exception is that you need to gamble for them, and you can even get skins for mounts you don't own. Sorry, mounts you don't currently have a temporary license to use. Gamers are happy with the overall content of the expansion, but have been somewhat up in arms over the addition of loot boxes to a game that has historically had none. You can exchange in-game gold for these mysterious gems, and in the eyes of some gamers, this will mean that the system is clearly optional, which for a group of already highly invested MMO players is a totally reasonable thing to do. But it's just cosmetic psychological manipulation, so it's okay. According to Strauss Zelnick, the CEO of Take-Two Interactive, they will be including recurrent consumer spending opportunities in every title they put out in future. Recurrent consumer spending as a phrase makes me want to channel some George Carlin and talk about how shell shock became post-traumatic stress disorder, stripping all of the emotion and impact out of the condition so that people wouldn't get up in arms about it when military veterans issues were on the political table. Zelnick said, quote, "It may not always be an online model. It probably won't always be a virtual currency model, but there will be some ability to engage in an ongoing basis with our titles after release across the board. That's the sea of change in our business." End quote. Both Take-Two and Ubisoft have recently reported enormous earnings in the area of recurrent consumer spending, and it's taking the already long profitable industry by storm, representing nearly half of Take-Two's revenue. So I'd like to remind everybody of one thing. Microtransactions are not here to save us from video games being too expensive to make. And our uplifting game story of the week. The Screen Actors Guild has announced that its members successfully voted to accept the new Interactive Media Video Game Agreement, ending the year-long voice actor strike which has left the industry crippled by their absence. The union received a number of capitulations from the game industry, including additional bonus payments and a requirement that companies disclose some information about the nature of a project, including the code name, genre, and whether the voice actor is involved in a previously voice-acted role before they take a job. So at the very least, we can expect more game-related leaks, as voice actors have historically been a great source of far-in-advance details about upcoming games. And the end of the strike couldn't come soon enough, because Amazon has just revealed that their game engine Lumberyard has enabled text-to-speech, with 50 different voices in 24 languages. The system may be a bit limited, but then again, so are some voice actors who do regular work in the game industry. Your game releases for the week of November 12th to 18th are as follows. While this is a relatively slow week for full-blown new releases, with most of the releases being cross-platform ports, on November 14th we'll get the release of LEGO Marvel Superheroes 2 on Switch, PS4, Xbox One, and PC. Following the rather well-trodden footsteps of its forebears, LMSH 2 puts the player in control of a wide range of Marvel characters who each have their own special abilities to interact with the game world. And this time, it's about time. The heroes cross various eras of Marvel history in the third-person action battle platformer. And the big dog of anti-content, don't worry, you'll understand that comment in the next feature creep, Star Wars Battlefront 2 releases on PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One on November 17th. Precisely 2 years after the release of the most recent iteration of Battlefront, the new game comes with more characters, more maps, more modes, and more microtransactions. This has been your Game Industry News Wrap-Up for the week of November 11th, 2017. If you're interested in keeping up with the goings-on in the game industry, please feel free to follow me at Gnomecast on Twitter. My name is Tarmack. Thanks for watching.